another episode of Marvel's Pack Fresh podcast with Elusive Collectibles, Sketch Card Hive, Spidey Jew 09, and me, Gingy Man Cards. Hope you're all super well. We are here. We invite you to join us, join the pack for the latest Marvel card news. How you doing, lads?
How's it going?
Good, buddy.
Doing great, man. I'm just thinking that we're like the Marvel trading card headquarters, like right here, Pack Fresh, with the HQ, baby.
This is it.
Four corners of the world.
Slightly rounded, a little edgy,
yeah,
but that's all right.
So we were just discussing before we come on air about a few certain sets. Did you want to start with the set first?
Are some shout outs.
Or some shout outs.
Yeah, or some shout outs. Shout outs. Yeah.
All right, just you go first.
Yeah, so look, I think most of us here, I know you three guys, we love to consume Marvel content. We, inspired by other Marvel creators, and for me, like, I just want to shout out, some of the creators that I've been watching and following on a weekly basis. And for me this week, seeing what Billy is doing at Watch Me Open over his channel every Wednesday, he's breaking a box for the community. A very expensive endeavor to give back to the community, to break a box every Wednesday. And then on Fridays he's dropping his game show, which me and Sketch Card already got to be a part of. Sketch Card was last season's winner. I barely rounded out second. I got snuck in right there at the end. But it's a lot of fun. But man, Watch Me, he is really committed to the Marvel trading card community and really committed to create good content that we can enjoy. So he is my creator spotlight of the week.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Cool Sketch.
Damn. Okay. So I should have gone Marvel, but I'm shouting out someone who... So basically, a lot of us, since we are content creators, my pick was more along the lines of someone I look at that I inspire to have my wall more like, and to have my regimen, and I like the style, I like the clean, and my wall is not very clean on Instagram. I do the trifolds and a couple other things. But this guy, his name is Forced Moon Collectibles, and very cool in terms of how he organizes and what he shows. He's very specific. It's vintage Star Wars cards, and as you can see on his page here, you have all these really amazing photographs, very clean, all graded.
How's he get that black? Good night.
Oh, I know. And he does his logo on the bottom here, and it's clickable.
Is it really?
Yeah, so you can go to PSA card and see where it's graded from.
Oh, that's cool.
I know. And then he has what it's last sold for. He has he's basically an archivist. So this is basically a library. And it's just super primo, beautiful, organized goodness. So me and my OCD are very happy here. But he's a very nice guy.
Has he got the Wonder Bed cards, like the 1977 ones?
He has everything. This guy is a monster. He's got
the non-sport logo for PSA.
He's got it all. Like he's a monster. He's probably one of the leading collectors on this set. Very, very nice collection. But figure I show this. Yeah, I'll bring up Watch Me Open while we go to Elusive.
Yeah, man, I've been really enjoying the content that Marvel_Universe Cards has, and where he's doing so he has a card and then he's like, it's moving, so it feels like an optical illusion going on, and then you have like the sound effects in the background. He just has a clean page, and he's been posting a lot of 92 Marvel masterpieces. There it is. Yep. Yeah.
He is bringing to life our childhood right there.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, look at the Venom
just coming at you.
Yeah.
So cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah, he even put the river there. So sick.
Yeah, that one with Namorita, you could hear the ocean.
Yeah. That's the one I saw.
It's cool. Wow.
Yeah. Must take ages.
Man, there's some talented people in this hobby.
Yeah, man.
Amazing work. Just doing amazing work. Double layering, like he's cutting out individual elements of the card. This border, name and year and name of set here, that's something he made to match. And then everything else he cuts out, meticulously cuts out, and then keyframes the actions.
Wow.
Clever stuff. Look at this thing up here. That's a tough thing to pull off. Wow.
Yeah, so if you're not following him, you got to check out his stuff. Oh,
Sorry,
he had to
couldn't
grab
help
the
myself.
surfer, didn't he?
I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. All right, Gingy, what's
All right, go ahead,
yours?
Spidey, I'm good.
I mean, we mentioned this guy quite a lot, but he's a legend, and I love the way he talks. Have a guess. Stacking gems all day long.
Oh yeah, stacking.
He's a beast. Like, some of his cards are just unreal. His feed is
the
just
best.
sick. It makes me, I don't know. Look at that. Seamlessly nice.
Look at all that good stuff, and always ahead of the game on top of that.
Oh man, yeah. I would
Always ahead
encourage
of the
people to
game.
follow him, but they're already following him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
everyone's
it's true.
already there.
He's already stacking followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't need help in that department. But yeah, love
Not
the
at
feed.
all.
Love what he does. He shares everyone. Like, he's really part of the community.
He's engaged, and that's
Yes.
if you listen to
100%.
someone like Gary Vee, he would tell you that's one of the keys to growing as an influencer, is engagement.
Yeah, and he's always giving people shout outs. He's always supporting, all of us. I've
Exactly,
seen him
yeah.
repost all of our videos or news videos. Yeah,
Mhm.
super supportive. So yeah,
Really goes
thanks.
out of his way.
Yeah.
Appreciate it,
Ooh,
Charles.
look at that one! Wow,
Yeah, Charles. Shout out to Charles.
Thank you, brother.
keep stacking, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep on stacking.
Yeah, step up your game, Charles.
Yeah, you're slacking, bro. You're slacking. This is an intervention.
Slacking.
Stacking.
Love it. So that brings us nicely into Premiere. Let's talk about it, because I know we have mentioned it before on a previous episode, but I feel like now is a time when it's, I don't know, building a bit of traction. People are starting to realize what's going on and what it's all about. So
Yeah. So when you say premiere, we're talking about like like flare, metal. Premiere is another type of set, masterpiece,
Yeah.
right? So this is premiere. It's a whole different kind of set of Marvel trading cards.
When Marvel Premiere first came out, too, like there's a great news article. I think it's on Beckett. I don't know. We were talking about it before. But they very much, like the news release and press release, advertised as the first time Marvel went Premiere, right? It was the first time the high end.
Yes, it's
Right?
a great article.
Yeah,
Yes.
because the first Marvel. So just to give you guys a little bit of a recap, not you guys, but the guys. We go from 2012, 2017.
14.
2019, and then the new one that's coming out either by the end of this year, which I'm not sure if it's happening, or the beginning of next year, which is 2022.
There's
or
a 14 as
2021.
well. 2014 as well.
14, that's right. So 14, 12, 14, 17, 19, and then either 21 or 22, but I'm pretty sure it'd be 21. But yeah, just so everybody knows, just in case. So there has been a lineage of this set. It began in 2012, and it was before Fleer Retro 2013. Just to like mark things or whatever.
And before 2016 Jusco, right? So it's
Yeah.
So they were like the first higher end.
So I would argue and I think Marvel Beginnings came out around the same time. And Marvel Beginnings was a massive set. It had tons of different inserts, like big deal inserts. A lot of people haven't really gotten onto the Marvel Beginnings thing yet. I think people are just going to start getting there maybe in a month. But everyone right now is circling Premiere, who's kind of like coming to the hobby and looking for stuff. And Premiere, and it's a great set to circle around. Very, very much undervalued. Numbered cards, right? What else we got, guys? We got numbered cards, shadow boxes, which are pretty rare
cards,
pulls.
Yeah, Shadow
Short
Boxes,
prints of those.
Constellation cards.
Constellation cards, that's right. I'm trying to think of some other inserts too. There's
Printing
a lot of good
plates.
ones. Printing plates, really nice printing plates actually. And then you had emotion cards, which I think were only in 12
by NAR, I
Yeah,
believe.
12 for
and
sure.
and 14. So in 2012 there were emotion cards, and they had the original art done by NAR in a small set. And on one side of the booklet was a stencil drawing or a painting of some sort by Jason Adams. And then in 2015, it was done by Anthony Tan. Now, Nar and Anthony Tan you should follow them on Instagram. They're fantastic artists, big deal artists, probably some of the highest tier artists in Marvel.
I wanted to ask you about that actually, if you guys don't mind. Some of his sketch cards that have sold are going for huge prices,
PMG prices,
ridiculous, ridiculous prices. So I'm learning about his artwork.
Look at that Doom.
Yeah, look at that. There's some sick stuff.
That's a card. That's not a 5x7. That's a card.
It's amazing. He has not crossed over into comic books that I know of. Do you?
Not that I know of. Maybe some variant covers here and there, but I'm not sure.
I need to look into that.
Well, there's a premiere right there.
Mm-hmm.
And he does it all. Pencils, inks. He shows you the whole process. So here's pencils of Carnage. Mm-hmm. Right? There's inks.
Yeah, he even has little videos where you've seen where he's, drawing on a super small card.
And the other thing great about Nar is how he sells and packs them. So these are APs, customs, and then he puts them in these cases here, does prelims for you, shows you the process, builds you this kind of like package deal. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't touch Nar.
It's like an experience. He gives you an experience.
And Nar's classic. He used to be pack pooled Nar cards, but then he stopped doing that. And now he only does APs.
And then you have that signature.
And the signature's iconic.
Yeah.
Iconic.
I think that's important for an artist to not only create a style, but to create a brand to get to that next level.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure. I have to find Anthony Tan, which I'll look for you guys.
Some of his Venom and Spidey stuff is crazy.
Oh, insanely beautiful things.
I'll grab my Anthony Tan plate 1 second.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful cards. So it started then. Premiere was originally intended to be a set that was, again, the Premiere set, right? Very high end, very, very, very. In fact, it was the boxes that you would get your cards in were in a tin rather than a cardboard box. It was an actual tin. And in tin Marvel Premiere boxes case, what do they call them? Instead of boxes, they call them tins. And I think there were 6 tins a case for usual sets. I don't know if that's right or wrong.
6 tins.
6 tins. My cat's losing its mind. What else? So the thing about the set that became really big and why it's not really like set collected often is because the set really highlights sketch cards. Mm-hmm. And let me go here.
You could get up to what? 3 sketch cards in a tin at times? Is that right?
So you get 1 sketch on the top, which is either a 5x7, a 2-panel, a 3-panel, or a 4-panel usually. Mm-hmm. And it sits right on top in a nice plastic holder, right? That's the big deal. And then below that, you get a pack. And in the pack, there's a single sketch card in the pack.
Gotcha.
With other cards, like the numbered cards that we're seeing now that we're going to talk about.
And what about the hinged ones?
That's the 3-panel, so that's the hinge, when it can like stack or whatever.
Right, okay.
I'm going to show you guys.
Here's the, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this in good light.
Oh, the Gambit, yeah.
The Gambit. This plate, that's why it's hard to see. It's just the magenta printing plate.
Beautiful piece.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Tons of detail in it.
Beautiful piece. So, I
was going to ask you, how do you guys feel about the borders? The way the card is framed.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge fan, like personally, but there are, like for example, I'm thinking of a Storm numbered card out of 15 that I think looks superb. Mm-hmm. So some of them I'm like, but some of them I'm like, yeah, wow, that looks incredible. So I'm 50-50.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the 2012s have the best looking stock. And then after that, that's when I think you get the more polarizing, whether people like them or not, just because they're a little bit more basic. And the only thing that changes is, on the frame, whether it's gold, black, or blue, or silver. And on the 2012s, it was just very uniform.
Yeah, and the sketches. Yeah, the sketches. So they come in these panels, these booklets that can fold. They used to fold them up, and I don't think they fold them anymore, if I'm remembering that correctly. So, they kind of stopped doing that. The design is very decisive. I've heard from other people the same thing. You know what I mean? Where that's not something they're into or are into. For any sketch card collectors out there, a thing to remember if you're getting into sketch cards, usually sketch cards that feature the name of the character, hard printed on the card, like part of the design, those tend to be harder to come by. Not the most expensive, not like better than every other sketch cards, but like in terms of looking at sketch cards as like a stock,
Right.
those tend to be, in my mind, they're more desirable because I like seeing the name on the card, and some other people just don't like it, but I consider them, it's not often they do that.
Yeah,
Kind of like in the Black
very
Diamond.
Correct. Yeah. That was my first for me, like the Hulk sketch. None of the
Yes.
other sketches I had set.
The PJ
Hulk.
got.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
that
good
was
one.
super clean.
It's really clean. Really clean. Yeah.
So there's also for the shadow box cards. There's different groups,
Yes.
which I
Yes.
didn't realize.
There's golds. There's gold shadow boxes.
So like Group D features like 40. No, not 40 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need a checklist.
I'm getting it for you right now.
Well, this is kind of the point that I'm making about Premiere, is that because so many of the collectors now started in the last year and a half, Premiere hasn't had a major release since then. A lot of us don't. We're just not that knowledgeable about it as we are. Marvel Masterpiece, which had a release, Marvel Metal, which had a release, Marvel Annual. All these have had releases in this last surge in a time frame that Premiere has not.
And do you think like people, we're talking a few months, even years from now, will circle back to the original 2012, like the first?
I do, because you'll have the hype of the new release, and for those who are not able to get product, then these cards are. I'm gonna use the word. I'm gonna use this word. It's more relative, but they're cheaper. They're number cards that you can still get for $15 or $20. And so, I could see people circling back to those to be able to have access to some of the product.
Yeah.
They even did codename letter patches. Which
Oh
look
yeah, I
really
saw
good.
that. Yeah, the Spider-Man was pretty cool.
Yeah, they're really cool, and they're 1 out of 1.7 packs. Cards of each number produced of each letter, and the card name is shown. So yeah, emotion cards, and then the printing plates, and then artist sketch cards.
Tons of art. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
And the artists are always top tier. Yeah, they're always top tier. They're always meant to be really top tier people.
Oh, there you go. Gold.
Yeah. So then number 25.
Tons of number cards, man. Wow.
No, it's a lot. It's a
And
lot.
one
a
of
lot, a lot.
ones.
And one of ones, yeah. So 17 has a pretty good way of organizing it. It's when we start getting black foil, and gold foil starts becoming kind of universal standard for Premiere. It's like when they start getting onto their number system. So, and some big characters to have number cards on that you just don't get often. You know?
So here's a 2017, and it's got that gold that you're referring to in the P there.
Yeah.
On the edges.
Yeah.
It stays purple.
Beautiful piece.
And then, of course, numbered on the back to 10, 6 of 10.
Wow.
And then these, I don't know how to tell these. I mean, I know what it's numbered because of the stamp on the back, but how do you look at the card on the front and tell?
Those are a little bit more tricky, yeah. Yeah, because the 2014s, they're either out of 25 or out of 199, right?
Yeah, I just can't. Yeah, these
Is
are
it the
25.
foil color?
It has to be something. I've never inspected. The only one I have for 2014 is Wolverine.
Yeah,
And
I
can't tell the difference either. But
Now, 2012 is all 199. There's nothing lower
199,
than that.
And to your point, that's why those are still more affordable, because they're not lower numbered. They're numbered to 199. So like you mentioned, you could still pick some of those pieces up for $15 to $30, depending on the character. But yeah, so then once you get to 2014 though, and the one's numbered to 25, then that's when you start paying premium for certain characters.
Yeah, Spider-Man's still over $100.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'll show them. Let me see.
They did something with sketch cards in 2019 or 2017, I forget where I'm at, called the Hellfire Club Portraits. And it actually looks like it's inside of an art frame, and it's characters from Hellfire. And you have, or not from Hellfire, but they're featured specific characters in specific cards, number to 30, multiple.
Iron Man throws me off right off the bat, but Mystique,
yeah, Green Goblin.
Shaw.
Captain Britain 5.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm trying to remember how he's a part of the Hellfire Club.
Yeah, I don't know what their
Whoa, hang on.
You gonna teach us something?
Ginger's like, nah, I'm gonna hang back here for a second. This is nice. They do tell you what artists worked on what things, so that's nicely organized there. And then 19, I think 19 is a lot of ones that people are looking at now too, and they're hard to find. They're not easy cards to find, definitely.
Yeah, they changed the numbering too on the 19s. Golds are not out of 10; they're out of 15 on those.
Hopefully it's uniform. That's the word I was looking for. Hopefully it's uniform in 2021. I'm hoping.
Yeah. Here's what to Spidey's point. This is what the black looks like. This one's out of 5, and this one's a Hulk. So same thing. The only changes is the border, the black, and then obviously this is the Omega 505.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, and then this is the one that I was able to pick up as well. That's the Spidey Gold 2017.
What's that one's clean out of?
This one's just 9 out of 10.
I'll trade you all of these for that one.
He's not getting it either.
I'll trade you all of these.
Yeah, man, but those are nice, man. I mean, I don't have a single 2019. I don't know if you guys do, so I don't know what those. I've seen some, but I think I seen the Storm that Ginger's referring to. That Storm that's gold out of 15. Very, very nice color that they used on her. Yeah.
Retroverse said, "Gee, I've got the Storm 15 out of 15." So,
there it is.
He said, "You've got no chance."
There it is.
Come on, Retro.
Let's all relax. Okay, let's not get crazy here. But yeah, it's a beautiful set. It's eBay hunt.
Yeah, there's a guy that has the Wolverine out of 10 from the same set, Spidey, the 2017, and he's asking for 25 grand. It's a BGS 9.5.
Yeah, I'm a little south of that.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's a nice Wolverine, by the way, and the Venom, I could see how people would gravitate towards that Venom from the 2017 as well.
Yeah. Infinite's got the 1/1 Havoc. So there.
What's up, Infinite? Fair play. Causing havoc.
Yeah.
1/1 Havoc, nice.
So those 1/1s, sketch card. What is your experience and what those sell for? I mean, I know it's character driven significantly, but
I just haven't had a lot of experience with buying rare numbered premiere cards, just because Surfer's not in 15, 17, or 19. So I haven't had a lot of experience in there. But what I've seen, there are people who hunt them down. Not as many as you think. I don't know a lot of people other than a character collector, and even I think some character collectors pass on it sometimes. Because here's the issue, right? It's not so much that they're not desirable, right? It's that you have to think, right? This is like a very expensive set to buy into. I mean, you're looking at a tin at like upwards of 300 or 200 to 300, right? Especially trying to go back, they've all jumped in price because they have sketch cards. And the problem is here is that sketch collectors will pay a lot of money for a great sketch, hands down. And the rest of the cards are kind of like, eh. So what ends up happening is basically what happens is they cherry pick, and then all of a sudden you'll see on comps and eBay shortly after the set, cards just flood. And you see them everywhere. And people who've been collecting them pick them up. So like if you went to, for instance, right, instead of looking on Is the video stuff that I'm doing okay, guys? I'm not like taking
Yeah.
up too much. Okay.
No, you're
Doing
great.
well.
Okay. I felt bad. I was kind of like,
To-
all right.
To go off what you just said, Sketch. So in my experience, in terms of looking at what's been sold and stuff like that, the predominantly the things that are selling are the sketch cards from each of these years.
Yes.
The numbered cards is like here and there, the bigger characters, Deadpool, Spider-Man, etc. So yeah, you're absolutely right in that regard.
It's just what I've seen, honestly. It's just what I've seen.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, to your point, I think it makes sense though. Like someone that collects sketch cards, if they buy the box, they just probably want to recoup some of that money, so they probably sell off those cards to keep their sketches.
Yep. So even like, I don't think 15 obviously did not come on e-pack. So 17, 19 are up on here, and there's 1,119 2017 and 3,997 premiere on e-pack. And what I tend to do with card hunting is I look on e-pack if it's a newer set and see what's kind of lingering. Yeah, absolutely.
Just a little, almost there. There you go.
Oh, I think this was actually part of the promotional art as well.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a nice
Beautiful
finish.
piece.
Yeah.
It's very
It
nice.
is nice.
It's very nice.
And the red really pops with her on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I like the premiere situation here with the oval. Like I like it.
Some work, some don't, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Like some characters
right.
look okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Venom works.
Yeah, I'd agree.
It's true. Sometimes it definitely conflicts with the art. I think the Thanos is well positioned inside the frame to understand how to. You know what I mean? That tends to work itself very well. But yeah, there are ones that kind of conflict, and it does put a kind of a hold on some of them. I think 19 handled it a little bit better than usual. Like this looks great because of the layover with her powers here.
It's interesting.
You know what I mean?
Like almost all the characters have that feet forward, head back kind of position.
Yeah.
Almost look. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I mean, and it's one artist.
Over and over again. Yeah.
It's one artist. So the other thing I should say about Premiere.
So they drew, like they viewed the oval like the eye looking up at the hero or the villain.
Or they were in the line of action. So you have that one.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, and it's very much like Masterpiece in the sense that the art is all done by one artist. The drawback for a lot of collectors, and again, this will just change as the audience of Marvel cards kind of expands, is that it's digital. So a lot of the art is done by hand, obviously, just on a tablet or colored on a tablet, penciled and real, or just all drawn digitally. Which changes things up a little bit for people. I think that's one of the big things that stopped old school collectors from looking at this, because it's not like. It's original art. It is original art. It's not that it's not original art, but it's digital art. So I think that kind of throws people off a little bit here and there, which is a shame. Silk is great. Where are you, Silk? I just saw you.
Above Storm. There you go.
I knew it. Yeah. I was like, I know I just saw it.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's a nice.
Great piece. Wood coming out of there. Looks good.
I would have picked up the Miles, but this is not as good to me.
Yeah, his head is a little suspect.
I think is like the animated Miles has a big head of hair, and they were like, well, what if that was real and the suit didn't compress it in some way, but it just makes it look weird.
Yeah.
Conehead like, yeah.
Sketch on just thinking of die cuts because I like that kind of thing. But on the 2017 set, there's the busts die cuts, gold foil, which are numbered out of 15.
Beautiful pieces.
Do you I want to get your guys' opinion because it's weird. They look cool though. They look cool.
These are types of cards you don't. These are cards you don't look at online. These are cards you look at in hand. And let me explain. So right now, this card appears very flat to you, right? Mm-hmm. The black border, it looks kind of cheap, all this kind of stuff, right? There is a foiling and a shimmer to a lot of this card, and it just does not do its justice. I've seen these in person. They are quite fun to have, in the sense that they have like a lot to offer, like textually and visually, especially if like you binder them up and all that kind of stuff. I think the issue there is that because there's just some cards that just don't look good scanned.
Yeah.
Like these are far more impressive, but look at the scan; it makes them look completely flat.
Yeah.
But they are amazing, and they have a quote. I mean, sorry, go ahead, Gingy.
No, I'm just going to echo what you were saying, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough buy only looking at the scan.
Yeah.
And they're numbered.
You run across that even with Comp C, where a lot of cards, when you see them, like for example, quick strikes, because of the scan, they don't look as vibrant on Comp C, and then you get them in person, and you're like, wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known that was Thanos.
I would even say the same on Rittenhouse stuff, like some of the mail I've just received. I'm like, wow, it looks incredible in person.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like they're popping out of that comics background, right?
Yeah. Amazing.
They're very nice.
Do some shout-outs. Swami's in the house. Hey, Swami.
Swami.
Woo!
What's up?
Oh, we gotta talk to him about the Tokyo set.
Ret Show says the Miles isn't good.
Yeah.
And that's painful to say because I like Miles.
Yeah.
That's true.
Premier Infinite says Premier sets are elite, but I do wish there were more chase cards in the set. Yeah.
The sketches really take like a lot of the focus away from like having tons of chases.
See, this is the thing. Adam says I definitely think some of the
Keep up
characters
that
have weird looks to them. It's the like none of us have all agreed that they look incredible. Is that an issue?
Okay, so here's my thing. How can I say this?
It's a nice rogue.
That is nice.
It's a very lovely rogue. It's a lovely rogue. Good position, good background, very cool.
Good cleavage.
I mean, honestly, like for like these characters, for me, like, would it be like my favorite surfer, judging by the aesthetic of these characters? Probably not my favorite, but it doesn't mean that it's very different when you have a rainbow of this. Mm-hmm. The art changes quite a bit. And it's very different when you get to look at the card for a long time and like spend some time with it. It's very hard to judge a set on not spending time with the art.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like things look impressive, blah 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 blah. Sure, there's certain sets and certain cards that are just like pop and you're just like, yes. But it's not to say that things don't grow on you, because I've had cards that are, right? I've had cards that I was kind of like
I was
lukewarm about.
Yeah, and then you don't pay attention to them, and then something happens, you go back and look at them, and then all of a sudden you're like, damn, I want it now.
Makes sense.
Yep, and it's happened to me. I've looked at surfers where I was like, like I just had it in my head and I lost it.
Well, the 95 masterpiece was like that for me.
Yes.
I was like, man, this is a little bit out there in some of this art. It's inhuman to some degree, some of it. And then I go back and I'm like, you know what? I actually really like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's nice. Man.
I feel the same way about 95. 95 definitely was one of those sets. Marvel Beginnings, that's the one I was thinking about. No, not Marvel Beginnings. Is it Beginnings? I don't remember. Anyway, it's happened to me, so there you go.
Yeah.
So, Sketch Card, what do you know that you're allowed to share about the new release?
That was direct. How rude.
I gave you a back door.
That's true. That's true. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
I would say I don't know the artists. Other than that, I know it's coming. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it. What I've heard through the pipeline, and that's only because like artists talking about it or doing sketches and stuff like that. That's the only thing I know. I know there's a really strong artist list for it. That's gonna be like always though. So that's gonna be pretty crazy.
What little bit I heard was I can't talk about it. Like the people that know like can't talk about it, or the people that are involved can't talk about it. So maybe that's normal, but it felt really hush hush.
I don't know. They have a pretty set standard of format there. I think there's something I should say for us to consider that I've been thinking about on my own that I haven't really said, which was what's happening now with cards is that sketch cards they're going from being a box pool to guaranteed one a box to more of a one or two per case hit, like Elusive said, right? One or two per case on it.
They have to with the way the popularity is growing. You can't have artists.
You can't do it, and it's always been the thing that holds
like that.
sets back, other than licensing stuff, is artists being able to do these cards underpaid in a short amount of time. And yes, a lot of these artists are extremely underpaid, so hopefully that gets fixed in the future.
You know what I think is going to help as well?
Yeah.
And sorry to cut you off, but just on this point, I think what's going to help is right now you go on eBay and there's like a plethora of sketch cards, right? So I think in the future, once they're a case hit and people can't run a buyout, or you don't run by them as often, people are going to start buying out the ones on eBay a lot more.
I agree. 100%.
What a great opportunity to plug Watch Me Open's charity.
Yes.
Where he has collected sketches from amazing artists and from amazing collectors, and he's going to put them all on eBay. And I don't know the dates. Go to his Instagram at Watch Me Open, his YouTube page at Watch Me Open, and you'll see that he's going to take all the money that's raised through the auction of these sketches and give it to a pretty amazing charity that's to do with the global arts, making sure that those who are underserved, get the opportunity to be creative and have, a future in the arts.
I had heard that he was going to take that money and buy another 96 mm box.
I'm hearing conflicting things.
As long as I get an opportunity at the doubles, I'm fine with that too.
No, Watch Me Open is, he's very much thinking about the hobby as like a community, right? Mm-hmm. He's always working to making things that the community can enjoy. Marvel on the Brain, the box openings. I mean, I think what's really crazy to start thinking about and what this will look like in the future is that Watch Me Open has actually opened up boxes that we've never seen actually put on YouTube yet. Yeah. And he was the first to start doing that. It's a very big deal. And super nice guy. Not a bad dude at all. Not very nice, humble. You should definitely go subscribe.
Yeah, look at his features that he has on his channel.
Oh, I like that.
Featured all 4 of our channels.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice of him. That's really nice of him. Thank you, buddy. This is my school with my dorky author photo. So that's why I'm not subscribed here. Just so you know. I do not want you to think I'm not subscribed to you. Just so you know.
But you can subscribe twice. There you go.
Yeah, you're okay. Yeah. God, if my students see that, I hope you know what I do for you, Billy. Okay, I want you to know how much I have for you, buddy. Okay, there you go.
That's awesome. Yeah, check it out. And so, hey, thanks for letting me plug the charity.
I love that we did that. I finally sent him some stuff. Actually, funny story. So I was talking to him, and God, what were we talking about? Random thing, something to do with the quiz thing. He wanted me to help him with a question. So he hit me up. We're looking at him. Elusive, you're going to flip out. I'm looking at him, and he's showing me, man, look at everybody. Man, they're just like donating all this stuff. Sketch, have you seen this? This is going to be on the donation. This is amazing. And we're looking, I'm like, wow, that's great. That's awesome. He goes, yeah, man, it's weird. I can't see your name in here. Oh. Called me out cold. And I was like, I got nothing for free here. So then I had to go digging, and I finally got some stuff to him. But I was dying inside because I saw what Spidey put up for the donation. And I was like, this guy is going to make everybody look bad. The nerve of this guy.
He has no soul if he gets a chance to kind of nail you to the floor. He'll do it.
Yeah, super witty, so you definitely don't want to get in his bad side unless you feel like
super witty.
He'll ask you questions that make you feel like an idiot. So.
I thought I was a Marvel fan until I got on this show.
I think I pissed him off, and that's why he invited me on that season. He was just like, come on. You're going to enjoy this. I swear, this will be fun. Awesome. Have a good time.
Yeah.
There's one more thing I wanted to discuss, which you don't know about yet.
Ooh.
And it was a trailer I just saw before jumping on around a certain movie called The Eternals.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Now, I want to get your thoughts on that, if possible, while the chat's quiet.
While the chat's quiet.
Right,
On the trailer or thoughts
yeah,
on the
what
movie?
characters are you looking forward to seeing?
Oh, you're dangerous. Oh boy.
Yeah, so for me, it's Black Knight. That's the character that I want to pay attention to. That's the one who has the most longevity. When you look at who they selected to play him, I think Marvel believes the same thing. It's the same actor that played in Game of Thrones. I can't remember his name.
Jon Snow.
Jon Snow. There you go. And so to me, and the Black Knight, he's interwoven through the Marvel storyline through for a long time, from Avengers to the Galactic aspect of Marvel. So I see him playing a long-term role as we move more and more from the the domain of protecting Earth into the outer space, so to speak. So the Eternals to me will be it'll be an event movie, and I think that it's going to open the door for the conversation for mutants. And I think that's probably the biggest. Look back and we'll go, oh, the Eternal movie was connected and threaded all the way to mutants.
God, that'd be cool.
Because so Thanos, I can't remember the Deviants. You have the Deviants. Thanos was a deviant, and that's part of the Eternal kind of storyline. And so he's one of those. And anyways, if they start mating with humans and then creating a mutant gene that evolves throughout time.
Interesting.
They have a powerful lineup as far as the cast, by the way. I mean, Angelina Jolie, Salma Hayek.
Miss Hyatt.
Yeah, they're aging like fine wine. That's for sure.
Yeah. Still, I mean, that cast is crazy good bunch of actors. I'm really excited about it. I haven't seen the new trailer for Eternals yet. So I'm actually kind of excited. I just saw Spidey Jews, what you did on your Instagram feed. Oh my God, that's amazing. He did a 9-pager on an Instagram wall.
That must take ages.
9 spots. Oh, he killed it, bro. Killed it.
That was awesome.
Thank you. I was inspired by sketch cards. So.
That was great. I was looking for watching me over. I saw yours. I was like, wait a minute, this guy killed it. But I'm excited about the trailer. I'm excited to watch it after this. It's coming up. The Spidey's coming up. My hope is that Eternals and Spidey are the first movies to start hinting at X-Men and Fantastic Four. I think that's what I don't know what it is. I know it's stupid, but for some reason,
Fantastic Four for a reason.
I'm telling you, man. I'm thinking that Spider-Man No Way Home is going to do something with the Fantastic Four stuff. Like, I feel like the building where the Avengers building is going to be like the Fantastic Four building,
so
like the Baxter building.
Yeah. So who's going to be the intellect now that Stark's gone?
Right? Like, it just makes sense to me that Mr. Fantastic comes.
Strange is on there.
Strange is definitely
But
definitely an intellectual.
he's not going to be building, robotics and ships.
You know what I mean? Like, when they start doing cosmic stuff or whatever, like we had an engineer at the head of MCU Iron Man for so long that things that were needed to happen could be feasible because of him. Like, even like in Infinity War and Endgame, right? Like, they weren't able to make the machine without Stark, right? Hulk tried and stuff like that, but just couldn't do it. So having Tony in there to kind of get it jump started.
Marvelous Facts makes a great point. No one ever truly has gone in Marvel, but yes,
you're right.
It's true. True.
But AI Tony is not going to be leading the charge.
Tony Stark AI.
Every time we bring up like upcoming movies or potentially upcoming movies, I get excited. But then when we get off the podcast, I get pissed off because they're still not out yet, right? So it's like we talk about them, we hype it up, and it's like, yeah, they don't exist though, huh?
But Gigi, I think your
breaks
question
my
was
heart.
how's the Eternals going to move the Marvel card market? I don't think hardly at all, personally.
No, I agree. I do wonder if certain characters will get some loving as such, and maybe in the future.
Remember the 2020 Marvel Masterpiece Eternal card that didn't get used? Which character was that? That was
Yes. I just can see it in my head. I don't remember the character though.
To me, he has the biggest chance of coming, being an unknown to a known, because he's almost like he's a Superman-esque type character.
Yes. Spectrum, no.
Nope. And I know it. I just can't think of it right now.
I can't think of it. But see, that's the big problem about the internal stuff, right? Is that there's a lot, right? And we really haven't had the chance to kind of like none of them are popular, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just not popular characters. Now, if we're looking at a direct connection to this and what that works as, we got to think about Guardians of the Galaxy and what happened with Star-Lord, Rocket Raccoon, Groot, Gamora. You know what I mean? Did we see... I think what moves cards is going to be character collectors.
Sure. Well, if you go back to... I'm sorry, Lisa.
No, you're good. You're good.
Well, what I was going to say is you go back to Eternals, not the movie, but Jack Kirby. So Jack Kirby is the creator of Eternals, and he created them because he wanted to be able to give the original origin story of how mutants arrived on planet Earth. And so he creates this storyline of Eternals, which is, pretty special. It just never really popped, in terms of like the greater, pop culture. And so this is going to be Disney's chance to give that to us, and maybe some of it will stick, maybe it won't, maybe it'll be just an event that we point to in the MCU.
Yeah, but to everybody's point, obviously the one that's going to make, I think, put more people onto Marvel cards is probably going to be Spider-Man. The upcoming movie, obviously, because you got that with the release of the set.
Look at Spidey's face.
Yeah, I mean, you're glowing, Spidey.
Sorry. It's my Spidey sense.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be huge for the hobby, the movie and then the set. Yeah. But that's a no-brainer, so.
Yeah. But I love that, though. It needs to be said, right? Like, I feel like I've seen characters from the Eternals come up more in cards now because of the upcoming movie. Like, I feel like there is some kind of connection between what Marvel is licensing and asking of Upper Deck to what Upper Deck is doing for cards. Like, my sense is that I hope this becomes some kind of correlation. This is something cool that I thought of. In Black Diamond, however, which is pretty awesome, the Incredible Hulk had an autograph. Not the Incredible Hulk, like the actor at Norton. It was the villain. Spidey knows the name. The guy that gets the big brain, the leader. The actor who played him in Incredible Hulk has an autograph card in the set.
I didn't know that.
See? Isn't that crazy? Like, I was just looking at that card.
Well, why would he be in Black Diamond?
Isn't that interesting?
He made just a really small appearance in Edward Norton's, right?
Isn't that interesting? And this is why I think it's interesting. Because I sound like a crazy person. This is why I think it's interesting. Because in Shang-Chi, I hope I'm saying that right.
Shang-Chi.
In the movie Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, we get the appearance of Abomination.
Mm-hmm.
So there's obvious...
Yeah.
And that's the connect. You know what I mean? That's weirdly how they're bringing Hulk into the MCU. Like, we're seeing like callbacks to these variants. Mm-hmm. So like, it's weird to see that in Black Diamond. I don't know if they just had his autographs left over and they just put it in there, but it does make it feel like, since that's an MU set, that there is some canon stuff happening there. Mm-hmm. Like, if we think about like Star Wars has a canon, right? Like, I'm thinking canon stuff for Marvel now. I just thought it was kind of interesting. I doubt there's anything there, but I thought it was interesting to see that.
Yeah. You're like the guy explaining a conspiracy theory with all these strings and stuff on the
I was saying, he's got a board. He's like,
Easter egg.
This movie, this
my tin hat's right behind my monitor. Excuse me.
And all of us are like, yeah, sketch that. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Somebody send me a text.
You're doing great, Sketch.
Keep up the good work, man. It looks like you haven't slept. Hey, get some coffee, huh?
The newspaper on your windows looks really good. Wow. Love how you've decorated the place.
The simple hat looks nice on you.
What happened to all your surfer stuff?
Right.
Retroverse, off topic. Will Spidey tell us about his Hulk 181 on the shelf? Come on.
Damn.
Let's hear it.
Well, okay.
Damn.
So let me lay everybody down first, real quick. So if you really play Constitution, it's AF-15, X-Men 1, Hulk 181, and I can't remember what that one is. They're all reprints at 9.8. The real Hulk 181 is in the other room, graded at a 9.0, signed by Stan Lee. Now, that book does not wholly belong to me. It belongs to my brother, Dustin, who, in amazing juju fashion, was headed to Dallas to go to the Comic-Con and already signed up to get an autograph from Stan Lee. And being that my brother's been a comic book collector and people know him, he got a message from this lady who says, "Hey, I've got a long box of Hulk books. I want to sell them." He was like, "Well, I'm already on my way to Dallas. I'll pull over on the interstate and you can meet me at this gas station, but know that the money I have is to go to the Comic-Con." She's like, "That's fine." They pull over. He runs his fingers through the book and it's 100 through 200 as far as he could tell. And he's like, "I got $100. And she's like, "I'll take it." Gives her $100, gets in the car and starts going through what is near mint Hulk run 100 through 200. He pulls out 180, 181, and 182, which is the first cameo, first full appearance, and second appearance of Wolverine. Pulls them out, sells the remaining books to the guy that was riding with him to pay for the rest of his trip. Like that was a trade. He takes the 3 books and gives it to Stan Lee. And if you've seen Stan's signature, it's almost like a blob. It's just, like this. And Stan like goes to sign on the top of Wolverine's face, and my brother's like, "No, Mr. Lee, not there. Sign here." He signs the book, and hands it immediately to CGC. They take it, grade it, and authenticate the signature. Comes back as a 9.0. It's a $15,000 book right now that he has, and he still has 180 and 182 to go with it as well. Those came back at 8.0s, if I remember correctly. They're 180s skyrocketed in value because people now are saying that's the real first appearance of Wolverine. And anyways, it's an amazing story. I hold the book right now for various reasons, but it really belongs to him.
Awesome.
Wow.
You can't
Dude,
tell.
that's awesome. You
like
can't.
that.
That's a nice story, dude.
So I had him
$100.
type up the history of what happened and sign it, and I've got a picture of the book on the piece of paper, and it stays in my safe. So
That's cool.
It's a family heirloom.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
That's awesome. Wow. Wow.
Moving on from that's a really good segue. So Swami says, any information on the employee exclusive cards?
Yeah.
Saw a AF-15 employee exclusive card
This
signed by
guy knows
Stan
who's
Lee.
in.
Sold.
We've seen one sketch on Instagram, remember?
Yeah, Eugene has some.
Has some.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Keyword. No,
He might have some. He might have more than one. I think, any information on the employee exclusive. So, Swami, those are real. They are rare. They're they're beautiful cards. They're great cards. 100%. A couple of things to know about them is this. They were employee exclusive, so at Upper Deck, employees get certain gifts and their cards, and they're of different ranging. And I think that came in a pack, and it was random, and they would get either, whatever other properties they have, other sports things enter here, and then, of course, the Marvel Stan Lee. There are a couple other employee exclusive Spider-Man cards, like on Versus System. There was an employee exclusive, not signed by Stan Lee. This, however, is signed by Stan Lee. Incredibly hard to grade. The red foil on the side chips away easy. They're very pretty, very nice cards. So those are real. They're a big deal. I think you'll see some more. There's no hard number. I don't know how many there are. Our buddy Eugene would probably know how many there are. I know he's doing tons of research on that, and they are around. They are around. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that helps, Swami. I mean, Retroverse.
Just with the whole
Swami.
The whole Stanley thing. That's Swami. Yeah.
I was like, huh?
I think our friend Scandell was telling us himself, right? That Stanley signed a bunch of things. So personally, for me, like if you're gonna pick up anything Stanley signed, I would say the older the better.
Let me tell you something. Stanley signed everything.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he said it best, right? He said he would sign any piece of paper you put in front of him.
He was just. I mean, he's just. I don't know. It's like a robot arm. Like it. He signed everything.
Yeah.
It's not that it's not worth something.
Yeah, and those employee exclusive cards are extremely valuable. And here's the thing that people haven't jumped on yet is the whole pack pulled Stanley Auto stuff. Mm-hmm. The employee exclusive cards are right up there because of how desirable they are, how few there are, how nicely they were kept. But, you want to be careful. There are a lot of cards on eBay, and I'm just going to say this, that are like con cards, like convention cards, where they have the cards signed by Jusko, who signed everything, Stan Lee, Art Adams, Neil, there's tons of people who sign a lot of cards at conventions. And those cards over there, and they always put POA, or they don't tell you. So be very careful of that.
There's a whole run of Marvel 2020 Marvel Masterpieces with Dave Palumbo's auto on it right now on eBay. They're all fake.
And that guy said they were going to be PC, so yay. Yeah, that's really dumb. I don't suggest anybody do that. If you're going to sell it, you do it for your own collection. That's awesome. I think it's great because the signature cards that are numbered are pack pooled and stupid to find and can be very expensive. So I say do that for your collection 100%. But artists should be aware that when they do sign those cards, especially when there's a variant where the signature actually exists, they should put something on the card that indicates this is not part of that. You know what I mean? Like something in the back or like different ink, something.
So Dave signed them. Okay, let me repeat myself. Okay, they're not hard numbered. They're not pack pulled out of 2020 Marvel Masterpiece. They're signed with an ugly black Sharpie. They're not in the silver. And so, yeah, you can buy them and have Palumbo's signature on it, but don't think that you're buying something that is a part of the set.
Yeah, it's very similar to what people do with 92mm, and they'll get Jusko to sign, and it's just a signature on top of a card. They'll send it to get authenticated because they know that card's going to get a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, and I just feel bad for people, like, and Dave's super nice to even do that. And Dave Palumbo's a very sweet, great artist. I mean, he's a rock star. I only say it so harsh so that people who are collecting this stuff, the truth is this, like, yeah, you can say, oh, they should know better and do their research. Yeah, okay, we can be cold and say that about people. But the truth is, too, like, money's not easy to come by. And if it is, we should hook up. But money's not easy to come by. You know what I mean? If you got one of those trees in your backyard, I'm coming over for tea. But, I think a lot of times people are a little quick to judge. If you have a savings and you're in your PayPal and or whatever you have, and you're like a little card fund here, and you see something you really like and you don't know any better, and suddenly you click on that and you get it in hand, and for the same amount of money, you could have gotten the hard numbered pack pulled auto. Yeah, that's really misleading, especially if the eBay listing's not going out of its way to explain the card and the context. I think that's horribly misleading.
That's near enough every listing.
Every listing, yeah. It's terrible.
Speaking of Jusko and just autos, while we're on the subject, do you guys think that there's anything, I guess, with more significance that you could pick up than the 92 buybacks signed by Jusko number to 15? Or is that like the best Jusko signature stuff?
I can't think of anything.
Right?
I've been messaging Sketchcard, like, please help me find the Spidey. There's only 10 of them. Is that right?
So there's 15. So it's 15.
Yeah, 15.
So basically what's happening there, God, I hope I'm not talking too much, guys. Please stop me if I am.
It's fine.
For the buybacks numbered out of 15, Jusko signed. They're not stamped. They're just signed by Jusko and numbered and hard numbered on the front. And they do come with a COA, so people are aware. There is one person who bought quite a few of them. Multiples of each character while they were out there, instead of going for the What If parallel and the Silver Spectrum auto, which are the parallels that are of the card of 2016. There's another thing in 92 Marvel Masterpieces called the Dynamic Forces series, and that's where you have a card on top of a deck of a complete set of cards, not signed, just the main card on top, and it's one card that's signed by Joe Jusko and numbered to 5,000. And each character gets a certain number of cards that he signed for each character, and they're all numbered out of 5,000. They were even sold on QVC at one point back in the day. Yeah, a little bit of a thing for you. And, so they were sold around, and those do exist. And Jusko, like Stan Lee, probably not as much as Stan Lee, but signed quite a few cards as well. And the thing that everyone's looking at now that's, a big deal to people is the buybacks numbered out of 15 signed, because those are pack pulled and very difficult to get. So, and yeah, those are big cards. I bought the Surfer card at a stupid price and was put on the what Instagram page? It wasn't PSA. It was Compsy or something like that. They're like, this card, you know what I mean? Where they're like
Big
talking
sale.
about the value. This card, big sale, yeah. They're nice. They're nice looking cards. They're very nice.
I have a question in regards to your surfer, because usually it's very well known that the biggest drawback from just the 92 buybacks, the ones numbered to, or not numbered, but allegedly to number 99, they have super rough edges and they're in rough shape in general, right? Off-centered, whatever it may be. The ones out of 15 that are signed by Juice Core, are those a little bit better? Like, what's the condition of your surfer?
So for buybacks,
Here we go.
no, I didn't do it.
please
How
do
dare
it.
you, Gingy? I knew it. I turned around. I was like, "Don't do it, Fausto. Come back." You, the Fausto shuffle, the Norn shuffle.
Who's
Basically,
Fausto?
I know who's Fausto. Who's that guy? Okay, so in my experience, I've seen 3 different Silver Surfer buybacks. I've seen 10 different auto buybacks of different characters, like for other people, helping people with things, things like that. They've come here to the house. Some of them are really rough, and some of them are nice. It's really a luck of the draw, similar to the buybacks with the stamp. Like, there are some buybacks that look like 9s and possible 10s. Like, they do exist.
My 92 Spidey looks good, except it's a little off-centered. But just about every one of those Spider-Men are off-centered.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like they were stamped and beat up along the process. I think they were actually, really, I think Upper Deck purchased them from different collectors, or I doubt they opened them from boxes unless the boxes were super clean. But I think they got them as best they could in hand, took care of them, stamped them, and shipped them back out. So the problem with buybacks a lot of times is that they're handled twice in a production line, so you get the risk of them getting damaged. I haven't seen, Gingy would know this, I haven't seen a lot of like buybacks graded and get high grades. See, Gingy. Yeah. So, but the auto ones, they're handled twice, and then they get signed, so they handle the third time. So they're really, it can be rough. Mine's really clean because I've gone to quality control because I've seen 2 other surfers. So I got super lucky.
I have to tell you, just yesterday I saw. Let me do the math in my head. Probably about 18. Number 2, Juice Go signed. How was it? 2016. Almost all at a BGS 9.5.
Wow.
Yep, I know exactly where those are from. Yeah, those are special. So yeah, and that
Really,
person
really special.
really, really special. And that person basically, Elusive, like you were asking, like did the job of like finding
Going
multiples and just went through them with a fine tooth comb. You know what I mean? And that's why that collector has that collection, is because they spent time to like go through the stack.
And we're talking about we're not talking about random characters. We're talking about the characters.
The characters, like the tier 4.
Spider-Man, Wolverine,
Yeah, the tier 4. It's all tier 4.
I like that there's so many people in the hobby that everybody has their niche, and then people have that ultra focus. Like, again, going back to, just because it's recently on our mind, but that Scandell. Like, dude, doing that for 20 years and just picking up those autos over and over and over. I mean, that's what happens when you just have razor sharp focus on one thing.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, there was a guy that reached out to us and said, "Hey, I've been in the shadows. I've been collecting for 25 years. I buy every Jim Lee auto from the 92 Uncanny X-Men set that I can, Jim Lee set. And I want to show it to the world, and I got a PSA reveal I want to do as well." And so we jumped on his channel. Gingy, did you see it by chance? I know you missed it.
I need to catch up with it. I did tell him. I did speak to him yesterday about it.
You're going to have so much fun.
Yeah, let's make sure we link it in the description. Because it's for the historian, for the Marvel card collector who's a historian, you're going to want to watch it. You want to see it because there's a lot of history in that one video that just in one camera. Well, 2 cameras, and one of them that kept going out. But
that poor guy.
Yeah. But
that cell sheet he showed us was nice as well.
Mm-hmm.
That you talking about the Fleer news article?
Yeah.
Not news article, but it was like a
Press release.
Press release. That's what they call it. Press release.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, you guys, be sure to check it out. It was interesting.
Love it. Do you want to answer one more question, or?
Sure.
Yeah. So Infinite, I think it's quite timely as well. So Infinite says, what are your guys' takes on the new Black Widow set? As a big fan of Black Widow, as you all know, I can't get into movie cards and they look cheap. Because we have talked about it recently, haven't we? I think in a previous episode, but it'd be good to recap maybe a little bit for newer guys. Welcome, Ash.
Well, hey, Ash, how's it going?
How's it
So,
going?
yeah, I think that people have a lot of trouble with taking a printed image from the movie and putting it on a card, and it looking cheap. Like that's not good. Black Diamond gets away with it because of how exquisite they look, right? Go ahead.
No, by the way, next episode is going to be E-Pack.
How to do EPAC?
Yes.
We
promise.
said this
The
too many
timing-
times.
The timing may work out. We just keep thinking the next Men Metal's going to come out.
Oh
Yeah,
God,
true,
it better.
true. Oh yeah, sorry, you did say that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that happens sooner than later. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, Black. So, did you say you were a Black Widow fan? Is that who
No,
said? Who?
Infinite Collector is a Natasha and
Romanov.
ScarJo fan. So
I think, yeah, when you look at scenes, like I remember, I forgot what Avengers set it was, either Infinity War or Endgame. They had base cards in there, and I forget what set it was, and they are gorgeous. They're foiled, they're translucent, they're like high quality. They look like they came off Stark's computer. Like they look super crisp and nice, and I was pretty surprised by that. So I do think that still cards are a little tough to get into. Like when I look at Star Wars does it really well because they have cool variants and different colors and they have different textual stuff. You know what I mean? Like when Marvel Masterpieces 2020 did the metallurgy, that was a big change up for Masterpieces because textually we had something different because otherwise the card feels very straight similar. Even though there's just a change in foiling, it feels very similar. And I think that's what a lot of movie cards get lumped into. Now, movie cards, too, are pretty amazing because of the autograph. And I think that's the biggest drawback for me on Black Widow, is that they don't have her autograph. And that's not Upper Deck's fault. That's the licensing and Marvel issue. But there are interesting things in this set. I just think that that's a big drawback for me. Like, I just can't, you know what I mean? Like, personally, like, I'm a fan of Black Widow. I love the movie. She's an awesome character, one of the better characters in my opinion. And it's hard for me to get into this set because like I don't see that top tier thing.
well, I mean, they're releasing it like they are Unbound. One release a week. Cards numbered out to 99. Are all the sketches EPAC achievements? Is that what I heard? I don't know if that's
so
true.
we'll go there right now. Yes, I believe they are. So Sketch Card Achievements, the first 81 collectors to redeem base set high series tier 1 through 4, a complete 6-card Widowed by Achievement set, and the following insert sets, Family Reunion, Globetrottering, Red Guardian, and Sisterhood, will receive 2 randomly awarded original art
That top
Sketch Card
right
Achievements.
That top right is really nice.
Beautiful pieces.
That's going to be expensive, no?
I mean, it's very expensive to complete this. Very expensive to complete this. This is pretty special, and like again, like we were talking about to Premiere, to bring this full circle, sketch cards are going to get harder and harder to get.
Well, and to your point, you said earlier, how often do you get the name of the character on the card? You got Black Widow and Black Widow.
And it's a very nice design. It's one of the better ones they've done in recent years. It doesn't take a lot of space. There's foiling on it, which is always nice. You got the Marvel MCU logo on top. I think it's very clean. You got a little Black Widow dropping here. That's pretty cute.
But I would think if I'm a Black Widow collector or a serious sketch card collector, I would just save up the funds and buy the sketch that I want.
Yes. My advice to anyone, like if you're marketing shopping this, like you're budget shopping this, because I know we don't like that B word here, right? Like for me, so much about this is if there was a Fantastic Four and Surfer set was in here, right? Would I try to build the set from every week to week? No, I wouldn't. Like if I have to be honest, I wouldn't. I would just hunt for it later. To get the achievement, maybe I'd find some people who are doing it and be like, hey, yo, just give me one of the 2 you get and I'll pay you top dollar. And just lock it down that way. And that you just have to be creative because I don't like the gambling aspect. I don't like the whole like format of the release of the set. It's fun, it's exciting, it's something you do week to week if you buy 1 pack or 2, but it gets pretty disheartening if you don't get what you need at the end of it. And that's my opinion. That's just me thinking that way.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it's really nice. You do get many cards. It's not like Unbound where you don't get a lot of cards. Tuesday, October 5th, already passed, so the first one already sold out. We're run for 18 weeks, so you have 17 more weeks of it. You get 4 physical cards. The first one is the base set, exclusive to that week. So week to week, you have an exclusive card from the base set that you get to help you get the full base. 2 physical base set SP cards exclusive that week, so 1 of 2, so either one, you get a chance 50-50. 1 physical base set high series card, which is pretty interesting, and then 1 physical insert card. And the inserts they have is covert fragments. Now this is kind of a big deal because this is memorabilia. I don't know if this will be screen used or screen sourced, which is a big difference, and we can one day have an episode on relic cards. You got the family reunion cards, which look really clean and crisp. Globetrotting, which is my because you're just going around. Yeah, I'm not. I can see that in a full set being interesting, getting like the different set locations. But I don't know, it's so limited of a set.
Yeah, I want a piano in my binder.
Yeah, that is.
See what I mean? That's what it comes down to for me too.
No, don't.
Sisterhood.
You got Scarlett Johansson. Give me another view of her.
Scarlett Johansson plus Pugh. I forget her first name now. I did that before.
The other new black.
She looks like Ronda Rousey's little sister.
She's awesome. She makes. If you guys haven't seen the movie, she made the movie.
By the way, the movie is now on Disney Plus.
Yes.
So if you've got Disney Plus subscription, you can watch it for free, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's really worth watching this movie. The movie's it's solid. It's a clean
It's a good movie.
It should be part of the MCU. It's a shame it came out so late. It's one of those films in the MCU wise is where it came out so much later. Like, when she dies at the end of Endgame, Black Widow, you're kind of like, okay, that's the end of the character, right? You don't get to like fully understand this is kind of like a cheap send-off type of thing in my opinion. But if the movie if this movie came before Endgame, that letting go of that character would make a lot of more sense. Target Master's Targets looks pretty cool. And we got Taskmaster as like an MCU character for the first time. Mm-hmm. So that's the rookie of that character, which is a pretty big deal because Taskmaster is probably one of the biggest villains
Taskmaster is
out there.
Awesome, and they ruined it in that movie.
They did.
Sorry.
They did. No, you're right. You're absolutely did. They cheapened Taskmaster. They gave it this kind of like circumstantial origin for her.
Yeah.
And it felt very much like a phone-in.
The only hope is like there's a Taskmaster program and they may be able to redo another make someone else Taskmaster.
I mean, it would be cool if I can see Taskmaster is very much like so in the MCU they have a thing that they do where they go ahead and kind of bring up somebody and you're like, oh, okay, this happened, blah, blah, and then someone takes up the helm and you're like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, like a new
right?
Taskmaster.
This is going to be like the Taskmaster. Like I can see them doing something like that, which makes a lot more sense to me. And a redesign of the outfit.
It's a great villain because they can actually mimic and they learn the skills and moves and traits of their adversary.
It felt very like Wolverine Origins kind of thing, right? Where they like did, you know what I mean? Like they did that whole like he's machinely engineered to do this, and and it just felt kind of like I don't know. Complexity wise and emotionally wise and story wise, what they talk about in Black Widow. Is very good and tons of action.
All that
story wise
at the dinner table, that was.
Oh, it's great. That's the one I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
The other cool thing, and the last thing before we kind of start wrapping it up, is the Widow's Bite achievement printing plates. Now, this one's pretty interesting. The first 24 collectors to redeem a complete Widow's Bite achievement set will receive 1 randomly awarded Windows Bite achievement printing plate. This is interesting, what they're showing here. I've never seen printing plates come out with this invert. Now, this is the cyan, and this is very different from anything I've ever noticed before. You mean because these would be usually black, so they're white, but they're textured. Do you see that honeycomb in there?
Yeah. I'm just thinking that the black and the magenta would probably look really nice next to some other Black Widow cards.
I just feel like it's going to look cool. Like something seems special about these. I'm not sure what it is, but like these look very different than any.
So that Black Widow hourglass is a cool,
Great design.
Layout.
Great
Yeah,
design.
nice design.
Great design.
Sure.
The card is beautiful. There are beautiful cards in here that are laid out quite lovely. Like, they're not bad laid out at all. They're really not. A lot of them look really clean and nice. Yeah.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah, Infinite, I hope that answers your question. I think that was nicely done, Sketch. Very proud of you.
I was like, yeah.
It's like you know what you're talking about sometimes. Anyway,
I can read.
that's been another episode. I feel like I've been rude to you today. I'm so sorry. Thank you for joining the Marvel's Pack Fresh crew. And see you in the next one, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Have a marvelous day.
Yes.